down by Na'Vi. And that's going to be the kill instantly getting away. But, like, these drops are really confusing me. I would love to be able to show the map a little bit because this is very surprising.
It is. Like...
Also, Alliance are split, by the way. Another one.
Well, I think that's more normal because they used to go boot camp, and I think they're kind of a bit more split based off them moving and dropping away from boot camp, by the way. For Na'Vi, I get it because they didn't actually split drop. They just kind of dropped away from Hating, so it was unusual.
They're going to go for the push where they are with the shotgun. He's got 5 bullets. Zakonivor is going to get cooked. Steam roasted. Zakonivor is going to be taken out. Going to have potentially a little bit of a fight coming out from Toluca also with that off angle. The Imperium, something else to add. Ostrich Warriors are split. There you go.
Max.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Max.
Yes.
Nakes are split. I had to, man. I had to.
The splits.
So look, we all know that like split dropping in Sandhawk is quite risky because with it being a smaller map, with it being more of a grassy terrain, you can kind of get caught out a lot easier as a one-man team. So that's why it surprised us more than any other map.
Yeah, Joy 18 going to be really tumbling down to the feet of Marines Force. Marines Force going to leave just one player alive to tell the tale and say how huge and how aggressive this team of Marines Force currently are. Marines Force, does not forget, the only win that they did get Imperium was on Sandhawk into the league stage. So getting into this one, Marines Force, this can be spotted out as one of your favorites. As, oh, that was a clean spray from Keys on that M4. Finds where they are, but unfortunately so far away, they're not going to be able to convert that knock into a kill.
I'm kind of looking in a bit more into the leaderboard and who's kind of looking good. You know, right now, let's be honest, it's really kind of a fight for first and second, and then it's a bit more of a fight for third and fourth. Whereas when you look at Alliance, Blaze, 12, 18, and 5th, 6th, and 7th downwards, they're tripping over each other on their fight to the top 3, right? They're tripping over each other on their battle to get to the top, and that's allowing that space to be created for the likes of Na'Vi and Nikes, who have had good results in these first 2 games and who have had, bar a little bit Na'Vi, had good results yesterday. So it is important that the likes of Blaze, 12, 18 and Alliance kind of realize this.
Bandita runs from a team, jumps into another one, and that's going to be unfortunate for him, Kanina Power. I mean, really at that point in time, you know that Kanina Power, they like to play towards Painan, so Bandita should be ready, but unfortunately he had no really other choice, option in the matter. So he's going to normally get spotted away. I think that Kanina Power did hit those footsteps, so just a few grenades, and that could be the end of Bandita. But he's going to go for the snake play. But Imperium, we didn't talk too much of what was happening down south. Like, frag machines are just wrapping around. I believe what is Iraqi Elite, like just like the casing around my chicky nuggies, you know, same thing.
Oh, now you're making me hungry. Thanks, man.
I know.
On a side note, like Kanina Power disengaging away from Painan so early is not too common, but they have kept Robadini in Painan as that little bit of a security blanket. I'm okay with it, but don't thread like too far north. Kanina Power, because you don't know where this phase 2 is going to go, and I like the fact that, as I said, they've kept Robadini and Painan for that little bit of security based on where phase 2 goes.
Oh no, he did sound for literally just a second there, and I think that Robdini's already scoped on him. He was like, nope, I heard that.
Oh no.
That was maybe the misclick that he didn't want to do. Bandita's out, and 12-18 will be eliminated. I don't know why he was just like, there's the engine's working. Oh yeah, it works great. Look at that. Just checking the connections.
So a few teams have rotated pretty well. Blaze, they rotated quite nicely closer towards the bridge line outside of Painan. It's a high ground terrain that's going to give them a lot of information for the teams by the bridge. And Godsend, instead of yesterday kind of hunting Na'Vi, so to speak, they've opted to kind of go, look, we need to be sensible with this. And they've made their way down into the Southwest Island, just to the north of Ruins, which is going to give them great variables on a rotation when phase 2 pops up.
Okay. So no, that early stage, I was just focusing on everyone being so split.
I know, right?
It was just for the losing stage. Teams did tend to regroup. Now, if we do see the map very soon, you'll see that all the teams did regroup back as a 4-man team, maybe 3-man team if some teams did already lose a player during that early game split, just like the likes of Headquarters. Overall, teams now know that, like, okay, maybe a little bit too far. Let's try and be a little bit more respectful. But otherwise, this circle, as you said, very normal. Teams should be used to it. The trifecta area is going to be really good. And I'm actually seeing Na'Vi going for the trifecta compound. And that's going to give them a lot more options compared to all the other teams in the lobby. Because if you have a hard shift going up northwest, they'll be the team going there first.
Yeah, they will have to be aware when they do disengage away from that trifecta area that they're going to have Godsend to one side and Blaze to the other. So as much as I love the trifecta compound, there is still risks to staying in that area, right? You are banking on teams being punished around you, that you're able to become the third-party team rather than the team that gets third-partied, so to speak. And, kind of to touch upon what you mentioned with Iraqi Elite and Frag Machines, as we do have them on our screens, I don't get why Frag Machines are staying there if they can, in some way, shape, or form, disengage. It doesn't have to be the full team. You can have one move out and have the others kind of support them. But right now, they're staying exactly where they are. And all they're doing is punishing their position in Phase 2, Phase 3, because they're going to be going up the hill with zero information.
I'm actually going to disagree a little bit. That doesn't happen normally very often. But I think that here you do not know yet where the circle is going to go. Wait until Phase 2, then when Phase 2 pops, maybe sure, if the circle does tend to go away from your location, send a scout on the high ground position to get that information. But I think their intention is to punish Iraqi Elite when they try and move towards the circle, because they're on the coastal line, right? The only way for them to escape this would be to go for a boat rotation. And I saw no boat spawning next to Sami. So already here, the only way for Iraqi Elite to really move out and stay alive is going to be to push their way towards Frag Machines. So if Frag Machines play their cards correctly, I think they can pick a few early game kills on Iraqi Elite.
Okay. You know what? I agree with you there. I do agree with you. It's just, for me, I'm kind of looking... I'm looking 5 minutes ahead, right? I'm looking 5 to 10 minutes ahead when Oztech Warriors moves over a little bit more down southwest, right? I'm looking more at how it might go against Frag Machines, but your point is absolutely bang on.
There you go, but Wildcats also going to make the rotation next to Ban, aka Kalaris' favorite area to close off a game. But the circle is not going to be too hard, but now you've got a few high ground positions up north of Frag Machine. Now if you want to send, Raoul, if you want to send Freak over there, just get them information. Sure, you can do so, but I think that at the end of the day, you might want to have them an advantage to take the fight. So intrigued to see what the decision-making is going to be over there, but now I know the northern western island is potentially not going to be into play. So Na'Vi crossed over the river and will be in a more central position on Phase 2.
If I was Na'Vi, I would actually send 2 across the water swimming over onto the coastal line
2-2 split
of boot camp. Go for that 2-2 split, but not too far away from each other. And they would have that kind of security blanket, plus a lot of information on Phase 3. And that's why I also loved Oztech's position when I was looking before that phase popped up, because they have a really nice entry point into that mainland. They didn't go too close to Painan. They had a lot of great rotational spots that they could move to. However, the circle shifted and instantly they've responded by moving into that mainland.
I think overall, I like where players currently are. They're getting himself into the side of Painan. You mentioned it right, there was one player of Kenyan Power that did stay there. I believe he did rotate away from Painan itself, so that's good. But I did mention it right, so you saw the Iraqi Elite, because of the blue zone, how the circle did shift away. They are going to get their way to push out. And I think that here you have an outplay actually gathering that information onto Iraqi Elite. He's not taking the shots because he is away from the rest of his team. Lord's going to try and reposition, wrap around to join up with Freak and Rauf. But Iraqi Elite, they got the information on Frag and they're just trying to respond in according fashion so they can just sneak by to not take that fight versus Frag.
Shots are being fired. The players of Frag are out in the open, so they're potentially getting caught out. We do also see a fight between Nakes and Snake Squad that's to the west of Quarry for what would be a fantastically core position in this phase 2.
Overall, I think they got some really good potential. It is a fight also on the outskirts of Quarry, so overall that's a position that even if you do take the fight, you got teams like Oshtik Warriors, Marines Force, and even Class Game in the northern side, that even if you do win that fight in Quarry, rotating away to circle does not tend to go in your favor on phase 3, 4, 5 will make things a little bit hard, but here it is, back on over to the fight of Next Gen versus Snake Squad. Who will be the better team in Quarry of them all? Fights him in, gonna go for the spray with a barrel. Oh my god, he's going for the jump shot over. That was so risky, but you know what? It did reward him with more knockdowns, but that all they shall get. And Snake Squad will be taken out in 15th. 2 last games not really going their way.
No, and next oh no, the third party from Oztech. You called it. But that was also off the back of Oztech reacting really well to this phase 2 shift. So really bang on stuff by Oztech.
Yeah, I mean, this compound has so many positions, high ground around it. You should never try and stay too long on the outskirts, or otherwise you are taking a really big risk. And now next we'll learn that one the hard way, as Vitamin's got no way to just hop on over and yeet himself over that bridge. Well, it's not a bridge. It's
Axe.
What am I saying? God damn.
Question for you. What do you make of headquarters going into boot camp? Are you a fan of it? Do you think it makes sense, or do you think it's a little bit of a desperation position on this phase 2?
I think they just had no other option, and it's better than being on the coastline, on the cliff, than actually, you know, they prefer being actually in a compound. So I think the here headquarters are good to go for that position. Okay. I'm not against it, as long as they don't overstay when the circle just tend to shift away from boot camp. If it stays on top, they have the advantage. You know, cool stuff overall.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I was thinking that myself. For Alliance, they have a lot of space to wrap around that north area of the black hole just down outside Paradise Resort. We do see it shifting down southwest, and oh boy,
Rivers.
Oh boy. I was thinking, cool, mainland finish, all good in the hood, but it's gone back down so that all 3 islands in play. Do Navi opt to send 2 on the northwest island? Do they keep all their players on the trifecta? It's a decision they're going to have to make relatively quickly.
I mean, one word, Rivers, literally. Wherever the circle tends to go, a lot of teams will get punished because they chose to go for one area. You mentioned a 2-2 split from Navi, actually potentially sending 2 players on the other side, and that could make up for some hard shift, but if teams try to push towards you, then they're going to have that man disadvantage. I mean, they made it happen and work out pretty good in game 1, but it's still a pretty big risk, and I think that here Navi is maybe just a little bit more confident to stick together as a full team, as we actually saw Oztech Warriors in the blue zone going downhill towards the last remaining player that is Malloy of Nate's Congenials. I think that's maybe a little bit overly aggressive, and I think they understood that. They understood their position. Okay, that fight's not worth it. We're taking a risk to get taken out and then take the blue zone tick damage. Let's aim for the circle instead. So I think that's a good call and really respectful from Oztech Warriors.
I like this rotation from Alliance because being on the coastal line of bootcamp, not only are you kind of safer to make your way into the circle, but you're also grabbing a bit of information on the teams that might be in the Southwest Island or the edge of the Southwest Island, even the Northwest Island, like Navi, who are down by that trifecta line. And they might be able to even catch a sneaky engagement onto headquarters if they do look over and towards that boot camp area. And, you know, talking about that boot camp area, how do headquarters go? Do they stay in boot camp now? Are they locked into that position? I can't help but think so, yes, because look at World of Wonders. They're on the hill down the south of them.
Yeah, they are going to be a little bit pinned from that one. So that's the thing also, is that you're putting all of your players in there. So that really shows that here, if they try and move early, they're going to get in trouble. The only way that really headquarters can move away easily from boot camp is to wait for the next circle. And if it tends to move away, it's going to be all about timing, right? Just like we saw Marines Force pull off that timing position to claim the late game circle stage on Miramar, here's going to be a pretty similar fashion for the side of headquarters. So once again, all about timing. But I'm seeing the southern eastern edge getting a little bit clustered. You got the last player, Malloy's over there. You got the Wildcats. You got also Oztech Warriors. But Wildcats have been going for wild rotations, and they really want to avoid the fight. But they're going to get surrounded by actually 3 teams. Not really what they were expecting, I guess, going for a late rotation.
What I'd love to see Blaze do, they still have their full squad in Painan. Maybe it's too late to try and pull off, but if they can send one player over towards a bridge line, he might get taken out, but I think it would be very valuable for them getting information, maybe securing a position on the next circle shift, and either way benefiting Blaze's late game.
I feel so bad for Wildcats. They're literally surrounded by 3 teams. Like, they are in such a hard spot.
Yeah.
And Malloy's still going to go for the spray because he's like, I got nothing to lose. Like, literally, I'm in the blue. I got 3 teams in front of me. If I can maybe snack on a few frags along the way, why the hell not? I'll give it a shot. Oh my god, that circle straight on top of the trifecta area, right on top of Navi. It seemed like the remaining as that 4-man team and not good for 2-2 split is actually going to work in their favor. But now I said it, I'm a little bit scared for Wildcats. Mert's going to be knocked out. The flush could be coming out from their alone of Oztech Warriors. They're looking for their 3rd kill, and they're potentially a little bit more onto Sword as a Malloy is still, I said it right, snacking on the kills on Wildcats, trying to capitalize and grab as many frags while he still is alive.
Oh, Alliance. Alliance are actually swimming across the water onto the Northwest Island. That's big brain rotation. And, you know, it kind of touched upon why I said that position, that movement on the previous circle was so good for Alliance. Look at that's inside the circle. Godsend, they're currently on a 2-2 split. I think they need to wrap together as a bit of a full squad.
Yeah, because it is downhill from where Godsend is going towards Navi, so I think overall maybe trying to hold on also to the southern western side would be a viable option for them, but Wildcats still, as I said it, under pressure. I believe that's going to be the end for them. That blue zone is ticking down heavily on their health bar. Also, Moss will get a last first stage. He's still got 3 remaining, so maybe we'll be able to play the battle of length and durability, but unfortunately for him, he's going to be taking a fight still versus Malloy. Malloy will find a few potential shots onto Moss, but Malloy actually, no, going to get picked up by the side of Moss. You know what? That's going to be good. Wildcats picking himself a squad right onto Naked Congenials. No triple chicken dinner, my friend, today. That is not going to be going your way. Slowly, this game is getting more and more aggressive as Class Game, Raze and Selim both knocked out by the opposing side of World of Wonders, trying to contest for that high ground position, but they got no option. Class have to push their way into the circle, and unfortunately, that position is going to be right through the area of World of Wonders.
This fight between World and Wonder and Class could be third party by Kanina Power, because they have to wrap up this hill to make their way more into the circle.
I think they can also potentially use this Mayhem to rotate inside the circle itself, but you know what? Kanina Power, their team, they tend to go aggressive. They're feeling pretty good after those 4 chicken dinners out of 5 games yesterday. Like, you know what? YOLO. We're going to send out to World of Wonders. Key's going to be the first point of pressure, the first point of contact. Nice. World of Wonders. Key's going to be taken down by Black White, the new addition to the team of Kanina Power. And he is doing pretty good. I got to say, he's been really surprising and really improving. They got that synergy together with the team. They are looking so strong overall so far. Of contact also with Class. The grenades will be coming on flying by, but Black White will take some heavy damage and will get actually picked away. And World of Wonders will get, unfortunately, sandwiched up between Class and Kanina Power. And overall, you're going to be seeing also a third party, I do believe, from down below by Navi. They're actually going full send it also on that one.
No, it's Marines Force. It's Marines
Force.
Oh,
I didn't see. Yeah, it's Marines Force.
I get it.
Another purple one.
Color. Yeah, it's another purple.
Wait a second.
The lighter purple.
They learned to teleport like Kanina on game 1. But Class still got to keep... Oh my god, that circle is on top of the bridge. That is going to be huge alliance. That was a risky move, but it's still going to be paying so good on that rotation. They must be happy-chappy about that one. Class down to 3. Ray's going to get normally flushed away because of that blue zone very soon. As unfortunately, Marines Force tried the third party, but unfortunately, they're not at a point of pressure where they can dictate what happens. They're in the blue zone, struggling to go up here also as Zerakially get eliminated. And I think they hit Class. We want to make sure the Marines Forces die on that push.
I worried about Godsend. They allowed Frag Machines to get in behind them. And now Frag Machines are on that coastal line. Now that's low ground, so they're not really going to be spotted by Godsend. Godsend did lose a player. They still have 3 players up. They're going to be going downhill towards Navi, towards Frag Machines. This could spell trouble for the Godsend boys.
Could be the case. They're going to be surrounded by Blaze, Frag Machine, and also Navi from a distance. Even Alliance could take a few shots as Zoshtik Rose. In the southern side, the blue zone tick damage is going to be a little bit too overwhelming for them, so that's going to be... And look at Monster of Wildcat still surviving, so maybe aiming for, you know, top 9 or something if he's able to out-heal the blue. So now Navi, they got himself a little sneaky 2-2 split, keeping 2 players down south to make sure no one's going to get himself into the compound so they don't get backstabbed. I think that this is just, you know, good insurance for the later stage. So this 2-2 split, I'm 100% behind it, and I'm going to back it up. I think it's great plays. But Kanina Power, they're going to be tumbling down here. And unfortunately, Kanina Power, after going downhill, they're going to make it through these buildings and also over the river. And I don't think the Navi are going to allow that to happen. This is illegal. No, you're not making it to the next stage, my friend.
And Lush, I just noticed, full center into the water from down the hillside and is in the river as the next phase shifts up. And this is a medlem. This is Mayhem and Blaze are going to get picked off one by one. Just Coursera is left standing.
All hell breaks loose as Godsend get eliminated. You mentioned it, Ryan Pure. Maybe they had to push on forward, be a little bit more proactive. They were not, and Godsend are out. Followed up actually very closely by Marines Force. And now, man, what? We had like 10 teams, like, what, 30 seconds ago? Now we only got 3? What the hell? Decimation. We just got a Thanos version. That was a risky, you know, very ballsy rotation. They took a huge gamble in that rotation going up north, but actually the circle, like 3-4 phases in a row, going on that position over the river. Alliance, they just, like, stonks. Literally the definition of stonks in PUBG Mobile. And now they're going to have to still push on over, but they got a compound so they can easily still apply some pressure. And as I say that, Sunrise takes the shots, finds Meku of Navi. They're looking so good, might be able to take their very first chicken dinner into the league finals.
But don't let up on Freak. Frag Machines can still close this one out.
Yeah. This Grim, though, he does get knocked away, still makes it inside that warehouse, so potential res is still on the horizon. It's Na'Vi. Still going to try and buy some time with the smoke. We mentioned it, Freak. Ready to freak out this lobby for goddamn sure. Really is going to be found away by Old Boy. And that flush will be the case, but unfortunately the blue is going to be engulfing the side of Alliance, and if they still got some smokes, they can still get Headache and Sunrise over. But Na'Vi, they got themselves such a nice spread, they're going to have so many angles, Alliance will not be able to defend himself. I think that now maybe this is going to go the favor of Na'Vi. They're feeling just too confident and too controlling for Alliance to be able to push and make it over that river.
Trying to lose the low ground of that bridge to hold on.
Yeah, it was just obvious, like they got too many angles, and now Na'Vi, they're feeling confident. There's still Freak right from Frag Machines, it's going to be there, potentially snatching it away, but four-man team of Na'Vi, they're just feeling too confident. And this is like a good ending from Na'Vi compared to game one. This is how you want to see it as an A play from Freak, they have no idea. And there you go for the last play of Alliance, that's going to be it, Alliance. And there you have it, that is going to be another win, 2 wins actually for the side of Na'Vi. The CI's domination continues up, and this chapter is not going to go and close just yet. Man, Na'Vi take himself another win on Sanhok. What a huge performance once again.
Yeah, and it was really well executed. That 2-2 split was much more controlling. They were benefiting from the circle shifts, don't get me wrong, but the way they also controlled the teams around them, took advantage of teams moving down from the mainland, and it was just really well played by them. They didn't split up too much. They weren't going 1-1-1. It wasn't anything crazy. It was traditional. It was straight to the point, and it succeeded.
See, very, very nicely done in terms of Na'Vi getting themselves the win on Sanhok. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And getting themselves 2 wins in 3 games. Are we on, Maxman, are we on route for a little Na'Vi Kanina Power, joint force here?
Kanina Power 2.0 happening right now. Like, definitely already a way better performance than what happened on game one. No, that split was definitely way better executed. And at the end, they just took control. They eliminated all the teams around them, and they took the win. It was very by the book, but it just worked so well.
Brutal circles for a lot of the other teams, though, here when we're talking about things. So let's get on our analysis, guys. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'll get you back for Vikendi as we go to the Tundra next. But before we do that, we're going to get on our analysis, gentlemen, here to break down what is going on with our Sanhok. And as previously mentioned to our commentators here, very, very difficult circles for a lot of people to deal with. When we were talking about PMWL, John and Blank, we would kind of name these the trifecta circles, where it's the old joint rivers here in the middle. And for a lot of teams, that's difficult to deal with, John.
Yeah, they really sellotaped the dog to the lamppost on that one, just pulled the circles their way, and took that western side of the river. You're right there, Blank. Yeah, he's fine. They brought the circles to them, and they played it, as he said, by the book. The 2-2 split, we've said, well, I've said, and Blank has said as well, that split really shouldn't pay off for them, but in that specific circumstance, I think it was the right choice with the zone, with the areas that they had. They just needed to wait for teams to walk at them, and that's exactly what they did. They made their position work for them, and that is phenomenal stuff. I am happy with that win from Na'Vi, contrary to the first game that we saw today.
Fair. Yes. I mean, Blank, what do you think of it?
I think that, to be fair, one thing that excited me the most about it, Tixi was so much less aggressive and so much more focused on keeping Meku alive, which was great. Happy to see that. I'm sure Meku was also happy in that situation. He was like, Tixi, please stop killing people and just res me. And in that situation, Tixi actually pulled off like a pretty classic resurrection, allowing him to get behind the rock and just sort of keeping him covered by leaning around the corner, which is great. When you're playing the 2-2 splits, you've got to be aware that you do need both of you up at the same time. It's not a case where you can let one player go down if you're in that 4-man. You have to make sure you have at least one player who can keep you up and alive. And also, they were very much safe from the biggest danger when you're playing that 2-2, which is grenades. They didn't really let anyone get close enough for grenading distance, and the only time when they were close enough is when they were pretty much cleaning up Alliance on that North Island. So honestly, much happy with that one. I think Na'Vi is starting to fix a couple of things coming through, and it does feel like adaptation is happening throughout the day here, because they have that false positive that, like, you know what, maybe this does work. They go for the split, doesn't work on Miramar. Like, actually, this is way too aggressive. Let's change things back up again, go a bit back to more traditional playstyle. And you come away with 2 chicken dinners today, and Navi's more than caught up already.
Yeah, the 2-2 split. the buddy system, keeping them protected from the dangers in the jungle, the dangerous animals in the jungle. Let's take a look at those points coming on in here from this game as Na'Vi once again is able to put on work. It's 28 points for them. They are going to be blasting towards some of those top ranks here overall, as we'll get to look at later on. Blaze, though, once again, yet another nice game for them. Not the biggest, 13 points is very, very respectable, though. Frag Machine's 13. Kanina Power back on the horse here once again, John. Good to go.
Yeah. It's very important as well for Kanina Power to be able to, well, push out quite frankly ahead of Class, because they're not on this page, notably, and they were starting to close that gap towards first place. So Kanina Power, they're going to be pretty happy with that. Although they have allowed a little bit of creep to come through, they should be still sat in that first spot. 6 placements, 6 kills. They'll be happy with that game, a lot more so than the earlier games today, James. And Blaze as well, a similar return to form maybe on Sanhok, but it is Sanhok. It is a little bit crazy. It's a little bit back and forth, and the circles, we saw them. It was trifecta circles. It was very difficult to deal with sometimes. So anything can kind of happen. Hopefully they'll be able to carry that through to the next games.
For sure, especially when that trifecta circle then closes in on that middle location near those rivers. That is agonizing here for some of the teams. But 9th through 16th Class, unfortunately not too much going their way. And Iraqi Elite, after a good performance on Miramar, are only getting themselves a 1-pointer. Blank, when you look at how Alliance was trying to rotate, though, up towards the north side on the other side of the river, it's a very bold play to try and make that rotation, especially considering you still don't know where the circle's going to go, but you have to try and take these risks, I suppose, in these kinds of circles.
Yeah, I think you're going for like the 25% play right there. Honestly, with the way the circle had centered up, I was fairly certain it was either going to drop down to the south or the northeastern island. I don't really think there was a massive chance it was going to go up to the northwest, because if we did get that shift, you'd be having like 70% of it water and then maybe 30% of it landmass. It's just kind of unlikely that happens.
Agreed.
And you try and cross that bridge afterwards. So because I do think that Alliance is a smart team, so if I was to say anything, maybe they were just looking for those placement points. Maybe that's what they were heading for. Certainly they did get some. Sadly, Frag Machines, though, they had a little snake in the grass there who took second place, and they dropped down to third, so didn't get as many placement points as they might have hoped to. But again, great game from Na'Vi, but Na'Vi, I think Alliance did need to pick up some points, and they caught up a little bit here.
Yeah, definitely so. And you see, what you've done there is you've triggered the highlights. So, John, why don't you take us through some?
There we go. I mean, we saw Knights go down pretty early. It was a decent fight against Snakes, as we saw them able to get the frags and actually almost res up Jackie, but then they just got spotted out. Oshtek Warriors, I think, in the wings, as well as Fast Pay Wildcats finishing them off there, being able to get those frags. World of Wonders as well. They went down very early into the game, and it's just not the squad that we saw during those league stages. We've been waiting for them to step up in a similar way. I mean, they've had, I think, 1 good game so far over the course of this tournament, and it's just not going to be enough. If they want to be able to see themselves through, they had such a dominating performance earlier. Where has that gone? What has changed? And we were speaking about this during the league stages, right? Is why didn't they win in their region? Maybe we're starting to see that here. Maybe we're starting to see why World of Wonders have their weaknesses, why they aren't quite able to convert on advantages that they gain at the start.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, obviously Sanhok provides a lot of foliage cover and things like that. You see a lot of, snakes in the grass, the windy movers, but Blank, you can't just glue some grass to a snake and, have it be enough. You've still got to do other things. You've got to be making the rotates happen. You've got to be able to get those third parties if you need them.
Yeah, as much as you want to start clawing the grass out the ground and start throwing it on top of your head to be like, I don't exist, you do have to do a few things here and there. Albeit...
What you do on a weekend?
It is, yeah, actually. So I go outside, get the grass, whack it on myself, sit there for 3 hours, meditate. It's a good time. All right, you should try it.
That's right.
But in that game, it's very hard to really make any tactical kind of play, especially with that kind of circle. I think Na'Vi definitely afforded themselves a great position towards the beginning of that game. I love I love that little bank side that you can play because there's like quite a few trees there as well you can play in and amongst, and you're not easily spottable. And if you really do need to get across, you can use smokes. It's a little bit difficult. We were talking about how, you know, maybe it would have been better if they'd sent someone across the bridge to the east side and had like an anchor there, like we saw Asia doing for Kanina Power on a Erangel game 5, I believe, yesterday.
Game 5, yeah.
Having that anchor is really, really, really important. But Kanina Power, I mean, Na'Vi here, great 2-2 split at the end, finishing things off. And I think as soon as you're seeing that circle come through to them and it's so much on them, they don't have to worry about the East anymore. I think it was completely fine to just revert to that 2-2.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Let's take a look at the total damage then from this lobby and see who's been able to put up the numbers once again. Will we get Sandhawk numbers? 1,700s? No. So Na'Vi dominating this, and I think that probably comes down to some uncertainties in the lobby in general, John, with where is the circle going to go, how are we going to get there, how are we going to fight. So very cautious play from a lot of these teams.
Yeah, and in general, we've been seeing today that teams have liked to spread themselves out a little bit more, not wanting to go into that clump. Unfortunately for them, this is Sandhawk, and you absolutely have to, especially when the circle is going to shrink that way. So the fact that they were all pushed together made it a little bit crazy. Na'Vi were ready for that, though. They were ready to take up that mantle, push back into those league stage performances that they had, and just draw on that experience. Playing the 2-2 split, as we said, perfectly. The question in my mind is, was that a conscious decision, or was it just them just saying, oh, let's play split again, let's just do that? If it was a conscious decision, fantastic call for them to be able to stick to that. If it wasn't, and they're just sort of saying, oh, well, you know, this is how we're going to play, this is just what we're going to do, then I'm not so sure in it, right? Like that's the thing, and we'd have to talk to them to find out which one it was. Was it proactive or was it reactive? That's the question in my mind. Well,
let's find out. Our top players here from Sandhawk as well, as Na'Vi dominated the damage. Will they be able to? Hey! Oh,
hey!
1,000 damage coming out from Oldboy on a Sandhawk. Right. That's impressive. He beat all the other teams, basically. Alone, almost.
He's a beast. That's the 4-man.
There was a 1,017 on the boards, but I think that was it. No, 1,071. Actually was the highest damage from another team on that damage graph there. So Oldboy not quite hitting that mark, but that was the only other quad-digit damage score. So fantastic stuff.
Yeah, very, very
Oldboy is a bit of a beast overall. But yeah, it's nice to see the 4-man overall, and a fairly quick game as well. 21 minutes, 10 seconds. So Na'Vi really cleaned up in those final moments. As I was talking about earlier, like I say, they didn't want to get too close to really exploit them playing that 2-2. They just got rid of people pretty early. And see what happened there was actually most of the other teams sellotaped the blue to their own backs, which is why there wasn't very much damage numbers coming across the board. They were all kind of just, you know, squashed.
Little bit squashed. Let's take a look at the overall ranking and see where Na'Vi has moved after the 2 wins that they've got in 3 games here. I think they will have propelled themselves very high up the leaderboard so far. They are now in 2nd place and clipping at the heels here of our horses, Kanina Power, up towards the top. 112 versus 104. Class game esports as well, 94. I think yesterday I was talking to you guys, and these are the 3 I feel are going to make it to Global Championship. And right now, they're not doing too bad, John.
No, I mean, obviously not. They're sat quite frankly pretty clear at the top. I mean, Nikes, they're within striking distance, and if Class keep letting it slip, I can see that Nikes will be able to, as we've said before, just cruise their way into those top 3. They are the constant threat, right? But they don't have that impact that we've seen from Class, that we've seen them able to have. And I just think that they're just going to start to extend that lead. So the top 3 for me, I think you're right, James. I feel like it's going to be those 3. That is who I would predict at the moment, barring any huge change-ups. But obviously, Snake Squad here, able to leapfrog Headquarters, no longer in the bottom spot. Headquarters now taking up that mantle. The Dragon logo, not seeing them right, blank.
I know. Very upset. Well, you know what they say about snakes? You know, they go hand in hand with ladders, and they can ladder up one place. Which is just what they're designed for. That's
what they say. Yeah, all
Snakes
of them
do have hands.
Of course, as well, with those 3 doing very well up towards the top, let's take a closer look at Matic from Na'Vi after they've had a great day so far.
Hello, PUBG Mobile esports fans. Once again, we're back for another sweet interview. My name is Maxman, and today we're going to be here, joined by the one and only amazing Matic of Navi. Natus Vincere going to be joining us today. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me, Matic, today. And you know what? To start off this interview, I'd love to know a little bit more about you. Can you maybe introduce yourself over to the audience?
Так, ну, мой игровой никнейм Матик, команда Natus Vincere. Сам я из города Санкт-Петербурга, он находится в России, и вся моя команда, кроме одного игрока, который занял MVP олдбоя, мы все как бы из России, кроме него. Он находится в Украине, город Харьков.
Thank you very much, Maddox. So now, right off the bat, I want to address the elephant in the room. You guys dominated on that league play, took yourself the #1 position in the leaderboards, dominating all the other teams in the lobby, making it now to the finals. So first of all, already congratulations for that. And also, I just wanted to ask you, how does it feel to be, the top team of the EMEA League group stage?
Ну, какого-то супер чувства прям нет. Просто приятно заканчивать отборочные игры на первом месте. И это придает просто больше уверенности в финале. А в целом, очень много хороших команд было на этой лиге, которые могли составить хорошую конкуренцию.
There you go, not too surprised apparently, and show some confidence I like to see, especially coming up from you guys, not too surprised whatsoever. But